Well, Congressman DeSantis, Republican of the fine state of Florida, was at that very hearing. Congressman, do you think it was a waste of time in the end?
Well, obviously, he wasn't somebody that was interested in helping the committee understand what's happening in the drug market. And I think he needs a refund. If he paid to have a memo commissioned on facial expressions during a committee hearing and he followed that memo, that backfired on him today. I think he came off as very arrogant, and I don't think he earned himself or his industry any sympathy. But I think it was productive apart from Mr. Shkreli, because if you look, when they raised the price of the Daraprim, that drug's been available for 60 years. And the issue is that the FDA has a backlog of 3,700 generic drug applications. And so normally if somebody raises a price in a market, there'll be competition that could come in and offer it at a lower price. The reason why Ford doesn't charge $250,000 for an F-150 is because they know people will buy Chevys or Dodges. Well, here, the lack of government ability to process these applications are basically fueling price increases.
Now, you know, the rap against a lot of your colleagues around it, you meant well just to showcase this guy for being, I guess, the bad boy of drug merchants. But there's a separate issue that whatever illegalities he committed had nothing to do with this, but with the hedge fund he's operating, that could land him in the slammer for a long, long time. That's odd. And a lot of Democrats have been seizing on this and say the laws being what they are, jacking up the prices of drugs might be all perfectly legal, and Republicans with unfettered capitalism have a tough time explaining that one. You say what?
Well, I think if you had the government allow to have an efficient market, I think you would see a lot of competition and you'd see a downward pressure on prices. That's just basic economics. And look, bureaucracies.
Yeah, but if you take over, I'm sorry, sir, but I was bad at explaining that. But if he takes over companies, he did here, he makes this drug, he makes a host of other drugs, you're the only one who's making it, the patent hasn't come off, you can gouge. It isn't nice, it isn't right, but it is still perfectly legal. And now are Republicans going to put themselves in the position, in the humane position, I had, to say, well, there's a limit to that?
Well, we absolutely want to make sure that people have access to drugs, and there's a variety of ways to do it. Obviously, there's the going market price. There are a number of government programs that help people that don't have means. So I think we're committed to that, but I think there may be a disagreement about, you know, do you want the government to go in there and try to set prices in any market? And I think that would probably end up causing more damage, because what it would do is it would really kill innovation in the marketplace. And so competition is really the way to deal with some of these issues. And this is an issue where it had been available for decades. So the exclusivity period, there could have been people who could have competed with this.
You raise all valid arguments. But real quickly, I know I'm driving my producers crazy. Having him come on Capitol Hill, knowing he was going to plead the Fifth, knowing he was going to do all the snarky stuff he did, you meant to do that, right? I mean, that was just to illustrate a point. I don't have a problem with it, but you knew what you were doing, right?
I think the chairman did, but, you know, Trey Gowdy made a good point, and you brought it up. The indictment and the illegalities don't concern this subject matter. So he absolutely could have testified to the substance of the hearing, and then he still could have taken the Fifth as it related to issues pending criminally against him.
Did you feel like slapping him?
Well, you know, it reminded me of Lois Lerner, because it was in the same committee room where that whole charade happened. And, you know, I think if you're going to take the Fifth, do it, but don't play games with the committee. And for him to go on Twitter, I just think it was dumb for him to do that.
So you did feel like slapping him?
I'm a very well-behaved member of Congress, Neil.
Well-behaved United States Congressman. Thank you, sir. Very, very good having you.